Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. Unfortunately, the Canadiens win streak ends at, I believe, 7 games there. They get shut out 2-0 against the St. Louis Blues, and that unfortunately means the St. Louis Blues have won the entirety of the series against the Canadiens this season. And for good reason, in my opinion. I feel like Jordan Binnington definitely was, the better goalie in that one. Not to say that Jacob Fowler was bad by any means. He did a great job. I felt like both goals not his fault in any way. But it's just one of those like I feel like the entirety of the St. Louis Blues are just like built to play against this Montreal Canadiens team. They're very big and very defensively focused. Their goaltender is clutch when they need him to be, and all of those things combine to make it very frustrating to play against, especially with this young team that we have here that is offensively gifted without a doubt, but very easily swayed by the momentum, and definitely in this one I feel like you could tell that the Canadiens just never really got a chance to harness that momentum and like swing it over to their way. There were a ton of chances the Canadiens had throughout this one to score. They outshot the Blues by 6, 25-19 there, the shots, but just never getting anything past Jordan Binnington, especially late there. We had some chances with a 6-on-5. Suzuki had like a couple 2 or 3 shots on net off of a rebound of a Demidov one-timer that he just wasn't able to get enough on. Binnington, great saves there, and that was basically the whole story of this one. Not too much to say here. It's really just, the Blues played a very solid defensive game. They took advantage of their opportunities, and the Canadiens were just never really able to find their game and find a way to, get past the Blues defense and start playing some offense of their own. So that's basically the whole story there. I feel like we all had a lot of chances. Philip Deneau had a great chance to score his first goal in his return for the Canadiens. Not his first goal as a Canadian, but his first goal coming back. A lot of guys had great chances to score, and we just couldn't really find a way to. It looked like pretty much every time we entered the zone, we just fumbled the puck, or they played a good defensive effort to kind of stick our pucks away. That second goal occurs shorthanded because we're just not really able to set up on the power play. We're just not executing well. Sapkowski had a nice. Or it was going to be a nice, saucer pass to Demidov on the power play, but it got picked off midair, which kind of sprung the defensive effort there. After we exited the zone, Hudson gave away a pass that ended up being a 2-on-1, and then Robert Thomas was able to put home the rebound there. So it's exactly what I said before. It's just the Blues, played a really solid defensive game and then just took advantage of the opportunities we gave them. And you can't even really blame the Canadiens to a certain extent. I feel like they played pretty well. They outshot them. They had great offensive chances throughout. It's just we got Goalie'd. We got that we just got shut down defensively, and just couldn't really find a way to break through and play our game. Whereas maybe if one of those chances goes in earlier in the game, it kind of opens the floodgates a little bit. We score a couple more goals and kind of put the momentum more on our side, but that just never really happened tonight, and that results in us kind of getting shut down defensively there. So that's pretty much it's a quick synopsis, but that's really all that happened in this one. Not too much to say, just a lot of chances, but not a lot of scoring. Couldn't find a way to get the puck past Binnington the whole game. So that's just the way it is. Hopefully he plays the same way then when he plays for Team Canada in February as he did tonight, and we will have a nice gold medal coming back to Canada there. I know I'm speaking as somebody from Wisconsin, but after they didn't take Cole Caulfield or Lane Hudson onto Team USA, so I feel like I have to jump ship and support Canada in this one for Suzuki. Maybe even vote for Finland for Oliver Kapanen, and maybe even Patrick Laine if he's able to come back and they take him off of injury or something like that. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not thrilled about how that U.S. selection worked. I understand that there are definitely some really solid players throughout Team USA. I just feel like it's especially Lane Hudson, the fact that he's been playing as well as he has been. He's I think he's number 1 in points as a U.S. defenseman over the month of December. He's better than Quinn Hughes in that stretch, and he wasn't even considered earlier in the summer to be on that summer camp invitation thing, and it just feels like Bill Guerin apparently can't see anybody that's under 6'10" or 5'10" or whatever, and so then none of those guys are just even in consideration to make the team. And when they lose in the Olympics, they'll be wishing that they took some clutch guys, especially like Cole Caulfield, who can score a clutch goal for you whenever you need it. So it should be interesting to see how that Olympics turns out. But back to the topic at hand here with the Montreal Canadiens. Fortunately for us, there are definitely still games going on. This is a bit of an early game for the Canadiens, but it doesn't really look like our standings position will be threatened all too much by this loss in particular. The Red Wings lost today. It does appear like the Tampa Bay Lightning are going to win their game there. Actually, it just ended as I was looking at it. So yeah, the Lightning did win their game, and they take a little bit of a lead in the Atlantic there. They jumped to first in the Atlantic as of right now. Detroit in second place with 52 points, and then Montreal with 50. But as I've said in the last number of videos here, every single point that we can get is extremely important. Because we just there are people that looking for from behind us that really want to take our spot here. Obviously, Buffalo just lost a game the other day or earlier today. They snapped their 10-game winning streak, but they are not too far behind by any means with 46 points, only 4 behind us. Florida with 5 behind us. We have a decent lead, but that lead can disappear within a week time if we let a loss like this against St. Louis dictate how we're going to play going forward. And obviously we have another game coming up tomorrow afternoon against the Dallas Stars here, so it does not get any easier. The St. Louis Blues were definitely a team that was beatable. Obviously, did not turn out to be that way, at least considering their defensive effort here. But the Dallas Stars are one of the best teams in the NHL overall right now. They are actually sitting in number 2 in league standings with 57 points. So this will be a test unlike any other. Obviously, Colorado would be a little bit better, but this is going to be a really solid game that we're going to have to really fight offensively and defensively to win here. So every point matters, and now that we've lost this game here against St. Louis, a game that we probably should have won, considering the fact that St. Louis is all the way back in 25th in overall league standings. We're going to have to find a way to win against some stronger opponents here. So it should be interesting to see how that goes, especially on the second of a back-to-back. We're still on the road. We've been on the road for quite a long time here. We're visiting Dallas to end that season series before returning home starting on Wednesday against the Calgary Flames. So that should be it's going to be a really tough game. I mean, the Dallas Stars are a really tough team. Obviously, they took it to us and then some in the Bell Center the last time we played them this season. So I think they'll definitely be looking for revenge here. The Canadiens are. So hopefully the Canadiens will be up to the task and bring that revenge to them. But that all remains to be seen. So yeah, I mean, every point matters. Obviously, as I've said before, hopefully we can take our offensive game to the Dallas Stars tomorrow and avoid being goalied twice in a row. But again, that all remains to be seen. So that's all I have for you guys today, and I will see you hopefully after a big win against the Dallas Stars tomorrow.